Call this meeting to order at 4:26. Mike, can you do an invocation for us, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the people who've shown up and blessed this meeting and help us make the right decisions. And thank you for our leaders. And thank you for all that they do for us and the Cherokee Nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Joe, can you do a roll call? Brian's gonna grab the phone.
Thank you.
Still, Rick?
Yes,
All right, we got you.
thanks.
For a little while.
Dick Lake,
Here.
Harley Buzzard,
Here.
Bill Anklin,
Honey.
Keith Austin, Joe Bird, Sean Crittenden,
Honey.
Mike Dobbins,
Here.
Frankie Hargis, Wanda Hatfield, Rex Jordan,
Here.
Mike Shambaugh,
Here.
Mary Bakershaw,
Ani,
Theo Smith,
Here.
Denise Taylor, Victoria Vasquez, David Walkingstick, Brian Warner.
Honey.
We have a forum.
Thank you. I'd like to ask for approval of minutes.
so moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Reports, Marshall Lamb.
Good afternoon, Council. It's late, so I'll just take any questions that you have. So,
You must have done a good report.
No, I
Oh, no,
I
it's one
have
question. Good.
Okay.
All right.
Marcia, I probably already know the answer, but I just want to get verification again. I attended a meeting on Saturday with the Greater Tulsa Cherokee community, and I was asked to inquire again about the clothing assistance program and the backpack assistance program. It turns out the way the county is in Tulsa, there's a section where part of it's on one side of in jurisdiction and the other part's on outside. And I want to specifically ask you, is it possible that the kids across the street could receive that assistance?
receive, okay, you're talking about two different programs.
School coats, school clothes,
Okay, that's mine.
right, yes
The
ma'am.
backpacks are Diane's, I believe.
Okay.
Now, where were you talking about?
There's a section in Tulsa right across the street from each other where these young kids are receiving assistance in the way of coats, of course, the backpacks and things.
Okay.
But across the street, they're not. Is there any way that we could possibly see to it that the kids get, our Cherokee citizen students get this same, just
That-
across the street?
If they're out of our jurisdiction, especially in that area, that's Creek Nation. No one's saying that. I know that they won't get it from Creek Nation. If you have a family that's really in need, and I mean they have to really be in need, we'll always look at it. We may not assist them through that program, but we have other emergency programs that can. We'll need a name and a contact number and an address. Okay?
But there's no way that everyone on the other side of the street, no. It
Not-
would have to
not-
be a specific family.
Not through
Okay.
the clothing
Thank you so
program.
much. No, I know it's not your answer, it's the way it is, that's
Yeah.
in jurisdiction, but that breaks my heart.
I know.
Okay,
I
thank you.
know.
Yes, sir.
On the commodity house in Salisaw, the new awning you put up, I had 3 different elders tell me how much they appreciate that, especially with all this rain. And it's really made a big difference, because used to they'd have to run, and one fell one time, and so it's really a good deal. Good improvements down there.
I think you were there when that kind of started, wasn't you? Yeah, it's makes it look totally different.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and the rain, yeah, it rains no matter what. So you're loading or unloading.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Marcia, whatever happened, or what have we done with those people up in southern part of Miami? You know, we were trying to get a waiver on that
We
donated
did.
food stuff. So what are they doing now? Do they go to the 5 tribes up there, or do you know how they're getting their food?
They,
But we did get the waiver, right?
yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, they should be being served. I
haven't
think
got-
they have a choice of going to either or,
Because I haven't got a call from those, there were two families that always call me up there now.
yeah,
I do remember you telling me that place, so
Yeah.
apparently they're taking care of it.
yes.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. And the waiver, again, can you tell me what that was for the food distribution or what?
I'm sorry.
The waiver that you're talking about, was it for food distribution or?
Yes, yes. There was a pocket of people that wasn't being served by us or the Miami tribe. They were just kind of in no man's land. So we did a waiver through USDA and the Miami tribe. We all had to agree that we would both serve them wherever they went. So
I need to talk to you about another waiver.
I knew it. Oh, yes, sir.
Well, I discussed it with you before, but I didn't get a waiver, hardly got the waiver, so that's good.
I understand. You can talk.
Yes, sir.
We had talked on the phone, I believe, about nutrition center. Have you been able to get me that information for me?
I believe a meeting has been set up. We got they wanted a copy of the agreement, and we got that to them.
Okay. Do you know when the meeting is, or would I be?
No, I haven't seen a date yet, so,
Well, if you could find out, would you forward
I
that to
will.
me, please?
sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Marcia. Ron's not here, so Michael Lynn, are you Ron Qualls today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ron wasn't able to be here today and asked me to sit in. I think you have a copy of his report. I'll be glad to try to answer any questions. If not, I'll get you an answer.
Yes, sir. Mr. Crittenden.
Can we ask you, or are you still Mr. Qualls?
For this portion, I guess I'm Mr. Qualls.
All right, I'll wait till the road section.
Okay.
Let's get through this one, and then we'll just leave him sitting probably if he wants to.
Let me ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we, let's see, where are we? Which one is he doing?
Well, he's community services, but we can go to the other.
Okay, do we still have the self-help where they provide materials for a project? Do we still have that? I should know that, but I don't.
And I should probably know that too, but I don't.
Okay, just check it out for me and.
I'll check
get
it
with-
out.
Okay, appreciate it.
What's that now?
Zone.
Or self-help housing? Are you?
We do materials only.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, Michael, you wanna drop down to your roads?
I can't get,
Oh, I'm sorry.
is there a dollar amount on that self-help?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but there is a dollar limit. I want to say $5,000, but I could.
Yeah.
It may be two. Don't, let me find out.
Okay, okay.
Councilman.
2,000?
Frankie Works.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Okay. I'll move into the roads and transportation portion. Just go over a few projects that we've got going. Bell School South as we're waiting on one parcel left to be acquired to get a couple of bridges, box structures put in there, and then we'll overlay that road. Honey Hill in Adair County is under construction at this time, about half complete. They should be starting asphalt here pretty soon, and that project is running well. Did have some issues out there during the rain, but I think the contractor as well as the county got together and got those issues resolved. They got the dirt and the material out there got really slick. I think there were some complaints. I know Councilor Crittenden got some complaints from some residents, but I think we've got it straightened out, and it was passable. But as soon as the rain let up, and I think it's holding up pretty good. So. Malloy Hollow, made a promise to Councilor Hargis that I would report on this. Things are progressing. We've been waiting for a long time on an agreement with Oklahoma Wildlife Department, and we finally kind of struck that back up. There's been some changes in some personnel at the ODWC, but we've struck that back up. I think we've got an agreement that was being reviewed by our contracts department today, and I did receive word just before I came in here that they were okay with what we had. So we'll proceed with sending that up to them for signatures and approval, and then on back down here for signatures here. So that will allow us to it helps both the environmental document that is being worked on for that project, and it'll also help us with right-of-way acquisition when it comes time to acquire that property through that conservation area. So it's moving along. Rocky Mountain School Loop is a bridge at the end of the project. That project, we built that, or overlaid that project a while back, but we do have a bridge at the end of that. There's a parcel of property down there that we had to turn over to the county for something that we call friendly condemnation. What that is the landowner had deceased, and it was not left or probated, and so we have to file a condemnation to acquire that property to get that bridge put in. So Commissioner's working on that over in Adair County, and we just turned that over to him here recently, so it could be a little while, but we are working towards it. Northeast Fort Gibson, here in between the Cherokee and Muskogee counties, moving utilities on that. Ross Street, also here in Cherokee County, a right-of-way acquisition. There's 19 parcels total. We've got 7 parcels that we're still in negotiations with landowners on. I think one of them we're going to be able to secure fairly quickly. The other 6 we're working as quickly as we can. They may take a little time, but we're working as quickly as we can on the remaining 7 so we can get that project underway. That project, you probably know, leads down to the new health center that we recently celebrated here this past week. White Oak Road in Craig County, also called North-South 4340 Road. Utilities are underway, relocation on that project. Delaware County, Leech Kenwood Road, still under construction, about halfway complete. I think they're going to be starting asphalt on that here fairly quickly. Mays County, Chimney Rock Road, they are starting utility coordination on that project. I think they're getting new bids for some utility relocations, so we're moving along with some utilities on there. And lastly, in Sequoia County, Moonshine Road, contractor finished that project up on March 1st, and we will be holding a final inspection on March 20th with the contractor on that to see if there's any outstanding issues or items that need to be completed, and then we'll be issuing final payment on that, and probably be scheduling a dedication and ribbon cutting on that fairly quickly as soon as we get everything settled up. So. Just a couple real brief things too is on this past February 27th we held we attended a meeting at the Cherokee Nation Veterans Center. The Veterans Center coordinated it, and it was with all of the transit agencies in the area, the 4 or 5 transit agencies that the nation works with, as well as a few others. And it was a good meeting, trying to coordinate transportation for veterans. I think it was a good informational meeting, and how we can all work together to better serve our veterans, and I think there'll be some really good things come out of that. And then lastly, I know in some other meetings today, Cherokee Nation, you heard Cherokee Nation Day at the Capitol this Wednesday. Community Services will be setting up a booth there at the Capitol for Cherokee Nation Day, and we'll have some staff attending that. So that is my report, Mr. Chair, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Buell?
Thank you, Dick. Michael, have you talked to the Corps of Engineers, or not the Corps, but the Army engineers on the Range Road?
I talked to him, I think last week, if not 2 weeks ago, from the Army, and he was asking about the environmental document, and I sent that to him, and I haven't heard anything back. But the environmental document was completed.
Okay.
Yes.
So they've got that, so we just need to probably meet up again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sean?
Yeah. I appreciate you bailing me out today on that ride deal. But I didn't quite understand like the Bell Road it's been in when you and I had the meeting at Bell that time.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about, this goes years back to Chief's way back, the Bell Road project.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work money-wise? Was the money put back way back then, and we're just waiting on all of this road acquisitions? So that money's sitting somewhere
When we
for the Bell project?
Yes, sir. When we first put that on our tip, that we had a meeting out there, a public meeting, and I think that's the meeting you're referring to, and that puts it on our tip, or what I sometimes will call our construction schedule. And once it's placed on that tip, it begins accruing money, and the amount of money that we receive annually, we have to allocate that based on when we believe it's going to go to construction. So we'll allocate a portion of our annual funding allocation to each of those projects. So yes, to answer your question, we started putting money towards that project after it was placed on our tip.
Now, is that tip, now is that what you and I did at Bell and different ones went out there? Like in 2015?
I'm thinking so. If it was a public meeting, it did involve our transportation
What were
improvement
they
program.
talking about? Years ago, this thing was supposed to be happening.
I don't know about that.
Because they were coming up and, you know, they were kind of doubting us and,
Yeah. I think that was Oak Ridge Road that you're referring to. Is that correct? Or not?
right, yeah.
I know when Oak Ridge was placed on our tip, but as far I do recall those conversations about maybe they were made promises years and years and years back. I don't know, but it was placed on our tip right after we had that meeting, those meetings out there, those public meetings.
And you gave a pretty good estimate. I mean,
Yes.
time-wise.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you.
You betcha.
Thank you, sir.
Mike?
I haven't been there for a couple of weeks, but how about the Kenwood Leach Road?
It's progressing. They're finishing up the box structures right now. I know there's still some concrete being placed up there. As soon as those are done, I know they are wanting to start paving and getting the rock ready. I think the rock needs to be worked a little bit, and then they'll be paving, I think, pretty quickly. That's the hopes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you all.
And don't see Anna tonight, but, oh, Gary Cooper. Gary, come on down.
You got Shane.
Shay's here for Anna.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Gary.
I know that y'all had a long day and y'all are running a little bit behind, so you have my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those for you. Every few months, I do like to give you just a quick update on like employment levels at the Housing Authority. At the end of February, we had 232 employees. 95.2% of those are Cherokees. And most of those are long-term employees, so the few that aren't were hired at a quite some time ago, or we inherited them from another place.
We've got 16 veteran, well, I'm a little bit confused.
On the VASH?
Yeah. Do we
Okay.
have 12 or do we have 16?
Okay, let me get over there. So we have 12 veterans housed. The 16 that you see takes into account how many we would have housed, assuming that the vouchers are out, or filled, meaning that there's a voucher that someone has in hand. If they get a place to live and we move them in, then they would be housed.
Okay.
So it's actually 4 that have vouchers issued and 12 that are actually in-house.
Okay, so probably the 4 are working on.
They are.
Getting within a couple of months.
Yeah,
both
yeah, so
houses.
they have been determined eligible. They have, by the VA, everything is good, so the VA is now helping them find a place, a suitable place that's good for them and all that other stuff. And I will tell you that a couple of them's, I know of at least one that's like, not an individual, but like a family. Yeah, I want to say like a 3-bedroom unit, maybe. It's more than just a single individual.
So how many vouchers total do we have?
20.
Okay, so even if all 4 of these.
We still got some room.
We've still got some room.
You
Okay,
bet.
Very good. Thank you, Gary. That program has taken a while to get up to speed. But
It has.
You're rocking it now.
And we are, and we're doing a lot. The Creeks beat us out, but you know they had one up on us because their chief is a former had kind of inside track there with the VA, but we've made it work, and we've learned some things, and the good thing is that there's a lot of Cherokee people, whether or not they qualify for this program. They kind of get that foot into the door through the VA system. Even if they don't directly qualify for this program, they might be getting some type of services that they might not otherwise. Absolutely. Because under that program, the VA does have a social worker that just works with our tribe.
Okay, very
Yep.
good. Thank you, Gary.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dick. Gary?
Yes, sir.
So we've been looking at the assumable mortgage program that you got, is that correct? in saying that? Where we had some homes in foreclosure, and in certain areas you kind of opened that up, like we done this last year. Only in certain particular areas where we took a look at what houses we had, and we could take somebody off a waiting list.
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
plug
yes,
those
yes,
in.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of checking, are we still kind of looking at doing that? Because I know it hadn't come through my area yet, but I was just kind of, I've got a few people that I've been telling, just, give us some time.
I'll need to check. If you want to get with me afterwards and
Okay.
there's a particular place we need to look at, let me know.
Okay.
Because I know that there's several that are, but I can just think of one down your all's way.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
But I can check.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you all.
Chase? Brianna Knight?
Hi. I was hiding from you back there.
We knew that.
I'm sorry, Anna couldn't be here this afternoon, but I'll be happy to address any questions you all have. Just wanted to point out one quick thing. I will probably point it out every month for the next couple of months, but the volunteer income tax assistance program is up and running. As of February 23rd, we had done 580 taxes for individuals. That number is now a little over 900. So in addition to the refunds that these people are due, I just kind of want to point out, I haven't looked at exact numbers for this year, but these individuals are saving at least $200. That's around $200, a little bit more if they go to a private preparer and have their taxes paid or prepared, filed. And then a lot of times you'll see tax preparers say, we will prepare your taxes for free, and yes, they will, but then they'll charge you for each tax credit that you claim. So while they are preparing your taxes for free, they will then charge for tax credits that are due these individuals. So just wanted to point that out. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Shay, I had a question today on my way to the office. They called and asked if, on the tax preparations, is it just the simple form, or can they do where they claim the deductions and they?
Yeah, where they itemize.
C, he said. I
Right.
was like, I have no idea what that is, but okay, I'll
Yeah,
ask.
it's just the simple form.
Simple.
We're not itemizing deductions, right?
Nothing simple on tax. Anyone else?
So you did 900.
A little over 900 so far as of last
That's
week.
a big number. Your crew is to be commended. You saved a lot of our members some money there. Good
Yes.
job.
Thank you.
Dick, I want to speak to that just a minute too. A lot of people don't know that the tax preparers will say we'll do it for free, and that's for federal only, and you still got
Right.
to do your state. And those people work on commission, so everything they can get you to do, they're making money off of, which
Yes.
we're just doing a service. So
Correct.
I'm glad that we offered it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See Nikki, I see Robert Doherty.
Becky Baker. How about Rob Doherty? Oh, we got one. We got one.
Oh, okay.
I'm here for Nikki today.
Okay.
She wasn't able to be here.
Sorry, we didn't see you.
I'm Charla Miller, and I'm the program manager for Child Protective Services. And I believe you have our packet in your reports, and I'm here to attempt to answer any questions you might have or take down any questions that I can't answer.
Any questions? That was a good report.
Easy on you.
I guess we're good. Whoop, one question. Mary Baker Shaw.
Yes, I was at the Northwest Texas Community meeting just recently, and I had the pleasure of sitting by a lovely couple who had their two beautiful children, which they adopted through Cherokee Nation. And they were talking about the process, and I was really tickled at how they expedited it for them to have these two children. And I was very grateful about it. They had fostered, and so you already had them on record. But I gather it's different state to state on what's required. Is that correct?
It is different. It depends on the stage of the child that's in custody and that as well, and the permanency of the child. I do know that we have, in cases where we know that there's not going to be anything come up in the background area that's so controlled to us federally, that we are really trying to expedite those cases so that children are with their relatives, much quicker process than what we have, been able to do in the past. So,
Had you not found a lovely Cherokee couple in Texas, would that child have been eligible, those two children in Oklahoma?
they would, the jurisdiction of the child would have been still in Texas. But if they were legally free for placement, we could have placed them anywhere in the United States that we would have found a Cherokee family.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Rob, come on down.
Jill, you got? Jill. You have our February report in front of you. If there's anything that I can attempt to answer, there are a couple of things I'd like to highlight on this. One is, this is spring break for a lot of schools. So we've got, this week, we've got 3 universities here volunteering. Texas Tech, University of Connecticut, and Ohio State. And we've beat all 3 of them, so. But we don't never mention that, but Texas Tech.
Except now.
Till now. Texas Tech is in the Marble City area, and University of Connecticut, they're in the Brushy area in Sequoia County, and Ohio State is up in the Jay and Uchi area. And they stay most of the time at our the community organization groups that we have out there, like the group from Ohio State, they're staying at Uchi, our community building there, and I believe Texas Tech is, one of them is staying at the New Life Church with Max Ford's church in Stillwell, and I think the other one's in Brushy, I think, so. And these are students, they're not skilled, so the projects that Tony and Josh find are something that students can get into, paint, hauling trash off for some of our elderly, disabled citizens in and around the area. So, but occasionally they'll try to hook up and do something carpenter, but the vast majority of them are not skilled at all. So we try to find something, or Tony and Josh try to find projects. The next group coming in, the Little Kansas and Oaks area, will be University of Missouri, March 26th, and the first Ohio State's coming back in May, and they'll be up in the South Coffeyville area, up in that area up there. So they're trying to find projects, something that these young people can handle, and Ohio State would come back 5 times if we'd let them, but they've got to attend school at some point. They love it down here, so. And continuing with, I think, tomorrow night, Watts, is that your area?
Watts, yeah.
We have a cultural presentation tomorrow night there at Watts. So if we have any feedback on those presentations, let us know. And I think Ms. Squirrel has been contacting most of you, trying to get help where we can have some of these cultural presentations, so forth. So just keep working with her, and we'll try to do as best we can, try to hit every area if we can. So.
Does she send those email out?
I'm sorry?
Does she send those email?
I'll have her send them to you guys, so you'll know
where they're at.
Yeah, where they're going to be. She and Miss Foreman Gray have compiled where all the presentations are going to be. So And I'll have that available to all the council people as well. Yes, ma'am.
Rob, is our website up to date?
We are trying to get some of the groups to send us information to update it, and we're having a difficult time. But as far as events and stuff, Kevin Stretch, our IS guru guy, he can pretty much update them as we get them from the groups. But yes, we are, because we were having a little difficulty because we were having difficulty trying to get everything going since we're in a new place out there. But yes, we've sat down and addressed that.
I know that Wanda and I would benefit greatly if we could have the names of the leadership of these communities. There's some correspondence that I need to get to them. How would I come about getting their names and addresses, or just a contact information?
Yeah, Miss Tammy Miller, because all of the ones that send us, because what we're doing is rather than trying to contact the whole group, have one contact person, then they in turn contact everybody. So we'll get you that, no problem. Excuse me, gone.
C'est ça.
How what?
You know, it looks like you get good participation in your technical assistance. I mean, I was looking at the February numbers here. I mean, you get like 80-90%, don't you?
Yeah, we get the one that we really, of course, unfortunately, it's the nature of our society. We had one recently, and it was, of course, we don't like. We had 81 people come to it, and that was at the active shooter training. And what we kind of thought was, just in case, we never know. Rural areas are getting hit by this, and what we thought, we kind of turned it a little bit to the part where probably for us in the rural communities would be more of an unruly person, a mad person, you know. And how do we handle that? And so we did. We had 24 communities present, represented at the last training we had, and then that was, and I think it was on a Saturday. We had 81 people, and the folks really enjoyed that. We hope we'll never use what we were trained in, but
One more.
yes.
Sometimes it's hard to switch over. I'm going to ask you in Cherokee. I haven't used that language today. Nó sa với này hơn thì trình gosna thì gì lắm stan này tàn đàn đi sa This is last year in Ashland. We just lost a lady that worked for him that did our cemetery.
And Miss Donna
And
Chuckle.
I asked him if he's going to replace that. And you know, everybody's gone. Donna Chuckle was he's a warrior for us.
She
for
was.
years, and took care of us.
One tough worker.
That was a tough job.
And for those folks of you that are counselors here, when we had the cemetery issues, she knew each one of them by name, their history, how many people were there, and so forth. Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost some good people in the last year in our department, and so we're still trying to recover from that, because we're realizing how much work she did.
Yeah.
And
Right.
thank you for bringing that up. Well, no.
Yeah.
Todo vi den så gis con goda.
Come on.
Rob, I just want to say thank you to Tony and those that he works with. He has done a lot with New Life Church Maxwell. And his group has a group of volunteers, and Tony's identified, some of our citizens that need porches or ramps or whatever in their group are skilled laborers and skilled craftsmen. And Tony's gone through and provided materials, and they've done the work. I just want to thank you for his help.
I will pass that on. Yeah, I've got a good group. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay. Well done.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
Okay, no old business, no new business. Any announcements?
I'd like to make one. Is Wanda Hatfield. She called me last night. We had a long talk. Her husband is not doing well at all. She said she'd like to be there, but she wants to take care of issues at home. So, just remember her and her family. Keep her in prayer. And it's a tough time for her right now. We've all been through that. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Oh, you did.